All right, guys, welcome back to another production meeting. One is missing, but he'll be on later, hopefully, crossing fingers. What are you guys up to this week? Anything new?
All right. No, nothing new except being unemployed, which is super awesome. I know last week, I was like, man, I know I watch stuff. I can't remember anything. So taking a little bit of my advice of maybe I should write these down. I wrote down all the movies that I watched this week. So I'm going to go down this list. There is a theme here. You guys might recognize, but I'll start at the top. I watched a total of 12 movies this week. 12.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
Yeah. We're going to start off with the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then
Jessica Biel?
with Jessica Biel.
Nice.
And then afterwards, I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, or as I like to call 3DD. Then we saw, you'll see the movie, you'd understand.
Okay.
And then I watched Sinister and Sinister 2. And then I watched these next three films, Cabin Fever 2, and then the remake of Cabin Fever. Yes, there is a remake of like a 2000 movie.
Wow.
Then following, I watched Cabin in the Woods because I needed another film with a cabin.
Nice.
After that, I was out of cabin movies, or at least movies with cabins in the title. So then I just watched the remake of Evil Dead. Then when that was done, I followed it with Vampires versus the Bronx because I needed to watch that. And then I watched...
I was almost about to be like, hey, I watched that too.
And then I watched Martyrs, which if you haven't seen, it's a French film that's really messed up, but pretty good for a horror film. And then just to cleanse the palate a little bit, I watched the remake of The Wicker Man starring the great Nicolas Cage. Not the bees. Fun fact, that actually wasn't in the theatrical edition. That's on the unrated cut. So, all the good scenes. If I have to pick a top 5, I'm going with Cabin in the Woods, Cabin Fever, Martyrs, Evil Dead, the Evil Dead remake, which is surprisingly awesome. I think it does what the Cabin Fever remake doesn't do, and that it takes itself, it's serious, but it's like super serious. There's like no humor in it whatsoever, and it's pretty grinding. And then Sinister, because I thought Sinister was actually pretty good. Not Sinister 2, and none of those sequels actually. But that is what I watched. So, woo!
Wow,
I had a lot of free time, man. I had a lot of free time.
I've seen Cabin Fever and Cabin Fever 2. Yeah, that's like one of the only movies that, what is it, Ryder Strong? Is it?
Yeah.
I know. I think I actually watched it because of that reason. And it's all right. It's kind of dumb, but, it's okay.
It's kind of dumb in a great way. Watch the remake, and then you'll be like, wow, this is dumb, but it's like trying to be super serious, and it's not fun to watch, and it's really infuriating, especially if you're a fan of the first movie. Now, as far as like Evil Dead goes, you can be a fan of the original Evil Dead, I think, and the real Evil Dead, and the newer Evil Dead, because I think even though they're similar with plot, the tones of them are completely different and completely enjoyable in their own right.
Oh yeah. Like the remake is really dark, and like the lighting and the tone of it is.
Yeah, not to say that the first Evil Dead, the original, isn't dark at all, but this one is like, this one is serious and gory, and they've like taken like a fine-tuned comb to it, and I think overall it's a good film and really, really disturbing.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's a lot of movies.
That is a lot of movies. But you guys should check out Martyrs, which I watched the original French version. I believe there is a U.S. version. I do not own the U.S. version. But I would be hesitant to read the plot because it's best going in not knowing anything, because the plot just does this type of thing where you just don't know, and by the end of the movie you're like, wait, what? So It's good stuff. And if you watch the French version, if you find it, I think there's a dub of it, so you don't have to watch it in French if you don't want to.
Sweet.
Well, I did not watch nearly as much. In fact, I watched the one movie. I watched The Bronx, and that's it. No, because I was playing 2 new games, and I finally got my device working where I can play Marvel Avengers, finally. So I've been playing that. I'm probably, I'd say, 10 hours into the game. It's decent so far.
Cool.
Is it repetitive?
No, it's what is the issue I have with it? It doesn't feel as polished as Ghost of Tsushima. It feels a little like the textures are fine. The environment looks good. It's just the characters are a little too robotic in their movement when they're doing cutscenes and like interacting with each other outside of cutscenes. It's not bad. I need to get the story's okay. The verdict's still out. But so far, I think I'm gonna. It's not gonna be as good as Ghost of Tsushima, but I think few games are going to be like that. So it's okay so far. And then I played a little bit of Crash Bandicoot and a little bit of Squadrons.
How do you like Squadrons?
I didn't dip my toe too much into it, so I can't really say if I feel like it's going to be good or bad. It feels a lot like Battlefront, the Star Battle. It's just basically them honing the entire story around that and then just purely going in that gameplay. So it's okay so far. It's not bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was catching up on Lovecraft Country, actually. So, a few more episodes in. Still weird science horror. But it's kind of interesting. It's a little intrigue, little mysteries going on. So, I'd say check it out. Like, go past especially you, Matt. Like, I think that you dig it. Like, it's...
That's what I'm hoping for, man. I'm just worried. I'm hoping for, but if I can sit down, I think once more. I mean, they're up to like, are they done with the season, or are they up to like 7 or 8? I think.
I think they have one more week.
Okay.
One or two more episodes.
So then I can maybe hopefully sit down and binge it. And I not to cut you off, I did forget. I did, because I didn't write it on my list. I have been watching. There's a series on Hulu called Monsterland, which is like a horror anthology.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's really odd. Like I'm trying to, and I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm hesitant to call it horror because it isn't horror as much as it is just like interesting the way they make these plot devices. As far as every episode has someone who's battling a demon, kind of like in their past or like something, but that demon is either related to some type of supernatural monster, or a monster comes in contact with them and then influences how they're acting in the future, or how they act in the, going forward. And it's really weird. As far as the 3 episodes I've watched, they have very odd beats to end on. And I'm never going, for all 3 of them, I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I'm wondering where it's going to go. And I'm at the end of every episode, I've been like, that's it. Okay, I guess that's all I get. I guess the ending isn't the point. It's just the plot of the story and the monster or, evil entity in there. That's the story. But it's so far, I mean, I say that, and I'm going to give it, I'm probably going to watch the rest of them. I don't know how many there are. There's probably 8. But like I said, we're halfway through, and they're like 40, I think they're 45, 50 minutes a piece.
Cool.
So
that sounds like a more expensive Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
they're all standalone episodes. None of the characters carry over, so each episode has its own unique plot and own unique situation. I have seen some carryover with these 3 episodes, especially one of the actresses I noticed was in 2 of them, which I'm like, wait, is this going to be kind of like an American Horror Story situation where like the same actors show up in different episodes like every now and then? But so far she's the only one, and it hasn't really, or at least I haven't noticed anybody else. But like I said, I'm going to keep watching it and hopefully be entertained, at least by the plot. and maybe one of them will have a really awesome ending.
Sweet. All right. Well, then let's get to the news. So this week, Borat 2 got a release date, October 26th. So, yes.
He's not.
So now I've got to go catch up. I got to rewatch Borat just so I know where he's at and, how he's doing in the second movie.
No,
There you go.
Join us next week on the production meeting as we review Borat.
You
Did you guys watch the trailer?
I have not. I have seen I've seen clips of it. So I'm trying to, like I do with a lot of things, that I'm worried about being spoiled. Because I am going to watch a second movie. I'd rather be caught off guard by anything ridiculous. Although I know a lot of his films, or at least if I remember correctly, maybe with Bruno, there was a lot of stuff in the trailer that wasn't in the movie. So there was a lot of outtakes and stuff that wasn't in there. Things were different. Like the jokes hit different in the film. So that's probably the case with this movie, come to think of it. But I still think I'm going to stay away. Because the worst thing that you can do is, watch a trailer and something really hits with you and you're like, that's hilarious. And then you go to the movie and you're like, wait, why was that not in the trailer? Or why was that not in the movie if I saw it in the trailer? So.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Oh, well. October 26th. We'll see it here. Our review on here, probably. Most likely.
On Amazon Prime, right?
Yep. It's going to be on the Prime. They wanted it dropped before the election for some reason. I don't know. All right. So Guy Ritchie is developing The Gentleman TV series. I'm kind of stoked about this. I like me some Guy Ritchie. I'm kind of confused on why nobody has done his TV series out of any of his movies yet. They're pretty much prime. Well, no, they did Snatch, didn't they?
I don't remember a Snatch TV series. It wouldn't surprise me, but you're right. I mean, even if it's not, or did they do a Lock, Stock TV series? Why does that sound familiar to me now? But regardless, I mean, as a director, as a writer, the way he writes those type of crime mafia movies, especially those British ones, it's kind of a wonder why they haven't just, especially in this day and age when people are just screaming for content in the past 7-8 years trying to get movies on your streaming service, why he hasn't really been approached, or maybe he has been approached, but why there hasn't been one developed.
Yeah, exactly.
For, an episodic thing. But, we get it now. So maybe, hopefully.
They did do a Snatch TV series with Ronald Weasley, actually.
You mean,
that must have lasted. Wait, how long did that last?
Rupert Grint?
Yeah. 2 seasons, maybe?
Really?
It's on... Oh, that's why. It's on Crackle.
Ah. So did they just buy the rights to Snatch, and does Guy Ritchie have anything to do with it?
I think they just bought the rights to it because it doesn't look like his name is on here. It says based on Snatch by Guy Ritchie. Yeah, Rupert Grint actually is the executive producer of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, his name is not a part of it anywhere.
Crackle 2, the exclusive home of such amazing films as Joe Dirt 2.
Man, my favorite right after Speed 2. No, I don't. I liked The Gentleman, but I personally don't see that would translate well into a series. That's just me. I think it's better. What is it? Not compromise. What's the word? Condensed down into the hour and 40 to 2 hour runtime. I don't know. I just don't think that would be as interesting. Maybe if they looked into, how Matthew McConaughey's character kind of built his empire, his marijuana empire, maybe that would be okay. If that's the focus, then okay. But if you're going straight for a copy of the story that the movie tells, then no, I'm good. I just don't think that it would be as interesting. That's just me.
Well, yeah, I agree with that specific, but his first couple movies, like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, there's a lot of interconnected characters that they kind of just like they skim the surface of, and I'm thinking that's what Snatch was, this TV series was supposed to be, was kind of like diving into like this seedy underworld of London. And maybe that's what The Gentleman's going to be, but I kind of dig it. I kind of like to see that, because like even the humor, like just this off-witted, like kind of witty humor is signature to his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also starring Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint.
He's like,
Well,
well,
that's another thing, man. If they do this show, based on a movie, is there any information of like what service, or is this for TV or is this for streaming or anything like that?
It just said that Miramax and Guy Ritchie was going to go into development of the Gentleman TV series.
Well, then, yeah, I'm kind of wondered, like, as far as casting, like, if they're pulling people from the movie. I mean, some of those actors would probably do it still. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, based on Guy Ritchie. This is from Deadline. No, I want to skip the ad. Yeah, just developing The Gentleman, a TV series based on the studio's successful action comedy. Guy Ritchie and starred Ritchie will write and direct the series, which he will executive produce alongside some other people. This will make a full circle for The Gentleman, which started off as a TV series pitch. So, I don't know. Yeah, it just says that Miramax and Guy Ritchie are going.
So wait, does that mean we're gonna get like the movie in TV series form now, since he probably has the treatment for the episodic version already done?
I would imagine so. I mean, if it was pitched as a TV series first, yeah, I would imagine that he'd probably go back to like The Well and like make it episodic like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're all excited. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
For Alex. Alex isn't that excited.
He doesn't look excited.
What it talks about.
What it talks about?
Or what it focuses on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stranger Things 4, season 4 resumes production. Woohoo! I will admit that I actually haven't seen the third season yet.
Ooh. Just kidding, man. It's fun. I'm hesitant to be excited about the fourth season. I was trying to stay away. I'm assuming. I think I read that there's going to be a time jump, and maybe they're going to be in the 90s now. So we'll see. I mean, that's what I hear. I mean, I haven't heard like what decade they're going to be in, but I definitely heard there was going to be a time jump. I don't know how long. And I think I want to say that this last season was around like 86. Or maybe at least 85. Maybe.
I think you're right. I think it was 86. I'm not sure why. Alex, thoughts on season 4?
I'm kind of indifferent. Stranger Things is fine. I feel like the subject matter is more relative to you guys because you like the concepts that they do, and it's closer to your age. But I'm just
shots fired, Maddie.
Dating us, man. Whatever. Not like this gray beard doesn't help.
No, I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, cool. I did forget to mention in the stuff that we had seen. I'd gotten all the way caught up on The Boys. Sorry, this just reminded me of that. So not to segue away from this.
Cool.
Ooh. But yeah, it's cool. I think it's popular enough that people are like, it's definitely, when is season 4 when is that supposed to premiere?
It just says that it resumes production. I would assume next October, if everything goes right.
Yeah, I mean, it's popular enough, so I'd say it, if it has that much of a following, it should.
Yeah.
Oh, and I would just like to clarify that the apparently season 3 of Stranger Things is in the summer of 85. So if there is like a jump, they probably can still be in like 89 or 88, and it should be fine.
All right, cool. Okay. Sorry, forgive me. I'm kind of skipping around because there's a bunch of this that kind of goes together. Robert Downey Jr. thinks that they can turn Sherlock Holmes into an MCU-like film universe. I think this is a dumb idea. How are they going to do this? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you, Mr. Downey. I think this is a dumb idea. Like, it's Sherlock Holmes. Are you going to like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen like this, or?
Is he talking about like where a bunch of movies like intertwine and their stories, kind of culminate into one thing? Yeah, I don't think that can work with Sherlock Holmes. I don't think there's enough. There's not enough material.
Did he? Yeah. What I'm thinking is he just saw that news about Spider-Man getting all those Spider-Men into the movie, and he was like, "Wait a minute, guys! If I can get myself, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Henry Cavill in the same movie,
we got something cooking.
We got something cooking. 3 Sherlock Holmes multiverse. Come on, man, book it."
I think that he is now out of the MCU and he wants something else to do.
He wants something successful again.
He needs a steady paycheck. I mean, he's getting royalties from those movies. He's got to be.
Yeah,
I know he's got tons of money, even without the royalties. He's like, he got after the first Iron Man. I mean, because Terrence Howard was the highest paid actor on that one, but like after that, especially like Endgame, he got tons of money.
Well, didn't he get
for a while?
Yeah, didn't he get like 15 million for just Homecoming? For in like 20 minutes of film time?
That.
Yeah,
not very much.
Hey, he filmed that on Zoom too.
Hey, Peter, man. I mean, Spider Parker. I mean, give me my 15 million.
I ad-lib my own script. Give me my money.
That's right.
Well, it's probably right. It's probably good for him. He's out there pitching ideas. I mean, the first Sherlock Holmes was fine. The second Sherlock Holmes was Isn't that also Guy Ritchie, by the way? I feel like the first Sherlock Holmes is Guy Ritchie, swinging and coming back around.
Both of them are.
Well, you can't go to the well that many times, Guy Ritchie. Put the gentleman up, I guess. Once was enough.
There you go.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of that he's in was with Robert Duvall. I think it's called The Judge, where he's Robert Duvall's son, but he's also an attorney. That was okay. Oh, and he was also in that Zach Galifianakis movie, Due Date. Yeah. That I keep seeing on TVS every once in a while. I'm like, oh man, Due Date. Click, turn away. Sorry, Robert Downey Jr. I'm good.
Oh man. Poor Robert Downey Jr. Okay. Resident Evil reboot unveils its cast.
All you, man.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Mila Jovovich once again coming. Oh, just kidding. I'm just making this up. I don't know.
I would go through the cast list, but it is quite extensive because they filled in some important roles that were a part of the game series. Chris Renfield has been cast, Wes Clare, so on and so on and so forth. Just kind of digging this because I read that the screenwriter wanted to go back to like that 1998 type feel of the game and not this like super stylized zombie apocalypse, whatever Mila June, like whatever she was doing. I can't even like.
Not the Hollywoodized version, basically.
Yeah, like she was killing things with her mind and stuff after like the third movie, or clones and all this other stuff. So I believe that he's going back to like the source material. He's going to make it more like the game. It's going to, I guess, entail like the first 2 games, which is kind of cool because Leon is in there and like Jill Valentine is in it. So I'm pretty stoked.
As a fan of the initial Resident Evil movie, and I say fan because I enjoy watching that movie. I think it's like a fun kind of like zombie movie. The rest of them are ridiculous, literally ridiculous, and not fun to watch. And the plot gets so convoluted and everything is dumb. The first one is solid. So if they're going to do it, if they're going to go back, and we're all hesitant of video game movies.
Yes.
Give it a shot. Just make sure Mr. Paul Anderson is not there and his wife. So none of that.
Well, he's busy doing Monster Hunter or whatever.
Is Mila Jovovich in that too?
Yeah, she is.
Are they hunting cheese? Munster cheese?
Munster cheese. Large blocks of Munster cheese.
Sweet.
Okay. I put this in there, and I preface the site that I read this on. We Got This Covered is very iffy on their reporting.
Fake news.
But they said that Michael B. Jordan is Warner Brothers' top choice for the new Green Lantern. I put this in here because I think this is kind of interesting. He probably would be a great Green Lantern. Not gonna lie. He's shaking his head. Why are you shaking your head?
Because we tried that with the Fantastic Four.
Oh. I was like, he's the Human Torch, though. He's probably had a better screenwriter with the new Green Lantern.
I don't know. I guess there are worse casting choices. Right off the bat, like knee-jerk reaction. I don't love that. I think he's an odd role for it. I don't know. First off the mind, I love the Green Lantern from the original, or not the original, but the 1990s Justice League cartoon. Though I love that Green Lantern. It's not Hal Jordan. It's
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Thank you.
Yes.
Man, I love the Daily Show.
I know. I was thinking that too. No, and that like right off the bat, like who would I think would play that version the best? Idris Elba, like right off the bat.
There you go.
Comes to mind. I was like, yeah, that he would be a cool. And I mean, he's built for that kind of stuff. He does tons of action movies, so sure, why not? Michael B. Jordan. Worse choices are available, but I'm not in love with it. And who knows how true it is, given the source that you had mentioned.
Yeah,
he was throwing the idea out there just so we could discuss the possibility, even though that the possibility probably isn't realistic. But
no, probably not.
I wonder if approached, would you think he would take it? Would you like?
Yes.
Hey guys, or hey Michael, we got this idea for a new Green Lantern movie, and we're thinking of putting you as Hal Jordan. You interested? Or John Stewart?
He's like, hold on. Let me get back to you. Hey, Disney. Hey, are you guys gonna be bringing me back anytime soon? Maybe to be kind of a Panther-ish like character, maybe that's kind of dark colored. No. Yeah, and man, I'm going to take that Green Lantern job. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
You forgot the other call. He's going to be like, hey, whoever made the Creed movies, try to make that Creed 3. No? Okay.
That's exactly how that would go. It's like,
yep.
But yeah, he would definitely do that. Well, who knows what's going on with DC, man.
Well, there was a rumor going around that J.J. Abrams wanted him as Superman.
Now, see, that's the thing. I actually think he'd be a better Superman. I don't know what it is than a Green Lantern. I don't know why. I feel that way. I don't see him as Green Lantern. That's just me, though.
Did you see Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern?
Yes, you mean the best movie ever that I own on 4K?
Wow.
I wonder if it's been available on 4K. I'm gonna buy it.
I think it's on HBO Max somewhere.
Ew.
This is true. Okay, so look at that. Okay, so Cineworld and Regal Cinemas are closing. Yay.
I don't know how many more feet have got to drop, man. It's just every week. Who knows what this, Regal came out, and the sad thing about as far as Regal goes is apparently all this came out on social media before they even released like a statement to their employees. So their employees, no. So all their employees like saw on Twitter before anybody
I said that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
or it was about them that got out, and then they were like their employees didn't even know. So that's pretty bad.
Was it? Aren't they owned? They're owned by the same people, aren't they? They're the same company.
Are they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that got out, and so then they're like, hold up. It was just conjuncture. We're not sure if we're closing. And then like a day later, they're like, yeah, we're going to close. And I actually got the email today that was like, our last day will be tomorrow, close of business.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's movies coming out, and they're still scheduled to come out. They are still scheduled. There's just nothing scheduled for this entire month of October. And really nothing in the first 2 weeks. I think Death on the Nile is still scheduled. I don't think that's got pushed back yet. And it's still scheduled for the 19th, I think, of November. Which, you know, I don't think that's a big enough title to open up theaters for, but that's a big enough title to open up theaters in lieu of another title coming out.
The 18th of December.
Oh, so never mind. That got pushed back a little bit to December.
Well, you know, in our discussion about, you know, my pessimism of, you know, the remainder of this year, there is something to go on with where Soul will stay. Because honestly, it's the first kid or family-friendly movie that I can think of, other than like, you know, what's a Robert De Niro movie, the War with Grandpa that I saw commercials for. Yeah, I mean, this is the big thing. So, I mean, is there a chance it'll stay? Yeah, I'm still pessimistic. I don't think it stays.
If I'm a betting man right now, which I've been doing okay as far as these closures go, I'm willing to bet that Soul's going to stay where it is right now. I don't think it's going to go to Disney Plus right away. I would think that it's going to stay where it is, see where everything is happening. Worst case scenario, it pushes itself probably to like the 11th of December, and then have everything back loaded up on that back end of December. Worst case scenario, they're going to have to move everything anyway to different dates. So they're going to keep it there. Hopefully things can open up for that December rush. But if things don't look any better by the end of November, the theaters aren't opening up by the end of November or, you know, scheduled by December, I think everything's just going to shift again, you know, another 6 months, another year, and everything's just going to get moved back.
Now, if it does move to Disney Plus, let's say they release it on time, doesn't do so hot.
That's the movie that I'm talking. I should have mentioned. If Soul moves, I don't think it's going to if they're thinking it's going to open. If it moves out of December, it's definitely going to Disney Plus. If it doesn't open by the end of the year, it's definitely going to Disney Plus. But they won't. They'll hang on to that. If they know they can't release it for Christmas, they will release it. There's no reason they shouldn't release that on Christmas, the holiday season, for $35 because they know everyone's just going to buy it so they can sit at home and watch it with their family.
Well, yeah, Milan apparently has done very well because of that. And I think it just dropped onto video on demand outside of Disney Plus yesterday, I want to say. So now it's on like Vudu and all that other stuff now too. So, but apparently it has been doing very well financially on Disney Plus. It does say that November 20th is the date right now for Soul. And I'm kind of with you, Matt, where it's like, that's Thanksgiving, that's family time, that's stuff, and you're putting out a family movie. You're going to have some sort of like revenue for this if they release it. But yeah, I agree. Like if they don't do it by the end of the year, Soul's going to Disney Plus. So
now, if you release it, let's say it releases the time it is, Thanksgiving, it doesn't do as well as they hoped. They're like, okay, we're taking it out after 2 weeks, putting it on Disney Plus. What price, if any, do you think they leave it up at $35 on Disney Plus? Do they make it readily available if you have a subscription without a premium? What?
Oh no, they would definitely, and that's actually not a bad strategy either. If they wanted to test that, put it out for 2 weeks and then move it straight to digital with a premium upcharge, I can see that working too. Because you're going to get those people that come out for it into those markets, and then you could probably double dip with those people that have seen it and then just purchase it right away on their streaming service. So that's actually not a bad marketing move, I would think, on their part. The problem with that is theater chains are going to be like, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah, and I think that the premium charge that they got from Milan, they probably learned that from Frozen and Rise of Skywalker and stuff like that when they dropped those pretty early, and they were seeing everybody watching those and then like leaving. So they probably learned and said, okay, well, here's Milan at $30, but you have to have the service. So the reason why I bring up these closings is because No Time to Die, the next James Bond movie, got pushed back to Easter of 2021. It was supposed to come out, November 20th of this year. Dune got delayed almost a whole year to October 1st of 2021. The Batman got pushed back to March of 2022. The Matrix 4 actually got pushed up to December of 2021, which kind of surprised me. Mainly, it's probably because The Matrix is actually being filmed in Australia, and they have probably like tougher like restrictions or something for the coronavirus, so they pushed it
Tougher
up.
People over there.
Yeah. The Flash got moved to November of 2022. Shazam got moved all the way to 2023, and Black Adam has lost its release date. They don't know when it's going to start.
Oh, okay. No, that's what I got confused. I thought, being Shazam, I thought you meant the Black Adam movie.
No,
gosh,
Shazam
I was like,
too.
that was set for, without any outside force, was set for what? Christmas sometime around there next year. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So I thought that movie was getting pushed back 2 years, and I was like, gosh.
Yeah. Also, Jurassic World Dominion is actually pushed back a whole other year to June of 2022.
Matt's all like, great. Now I don't have to see that until further in the future.
This is true.
I just feel like it's weird, like at the beginning of all of this, we're like, all right, everything's getting pushed to 2021. All right, 2021. And we're like, man, 2021, that's crazy. And then it started going 2022. And we're like, what? It's going to be like a whole year. And now we're like, everything's moving to 2023. What?
Back when civilization will be normal again.
Who needs new movies, man? We can just talk about them being made. That's all we need.
That's right. That's all we need to do.
I'm just curious about this Shazam movie. These kids are going to be old AF when that movie comes out. They're all going to be young adults. It's going to be worse than New Mutants. You're going to see the first Shazam. You're like, oh, look at all those kids. And now this one, they're going to have to recast all of them because they're all going to be like 20.
Probably.
Man, I love
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they were supposed to start filming, I guess, the end of this year. And they're not going to start filming. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies that just got reassigned to different release dates. Oh well.
I guess we get to look forward to the Fast and Furious in March.
They pushed that another month too.
In April.
Sometime.
Sometime in the future. So excited. I'm not. And I saved the best news for last. Jamie Foxx has been recast as Electro.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Just kidding. You can say it.
He has been cast as Electro in the third Spider-Man MCU Spider-Man movie. This has obviously opened.
Can we file this under why do we need this?
We can.
Okay.
Famous segment. Why do we need this? Why do we need Jamie Foxx back as Electro? I don't know.
I'll be honest. I've seen the first Amazing Spider-Man, but I've not seen, except for 1 or 2 scenes of Amazing Spider-Man 2, because of everybody's recommendation that it's just so bad, and that Jamie Foxx's portrayal is so cheesy as Electro. Am I wrong, or?
I literally think I only watched it in the theater the one time. I never think I watched it a second time. I feel like I put it on streaming a few times, but I've lost interest. And it's Spider-Man, for goodness sakes. You'd think I'd want to watch it twice. I don't remember it being that great. And I could be wrong. And in fact, maybe I should, with this news, go back and just enjoy the Andrew Garfield versions of Spider-Man. But I don't recall liking his character or Jamie Foxx's Electro at all. I thought it was very corny, if I can recall correctly.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. He kind of reminded me, in all honesty, now that I'm thinking back on it, he kind of reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin.
Very nice to meet you.
This makes me want to cut myself. Stop.
Yeah, don't.
You better chill out.
It's, you know, it is. I don't know where they get to that situation where, like, all right, guys, we're gonna put Electro in this movie. All right, cool. Who should we get to cast? You want to call Jamie Foxx again? See if he wants to come back. What? Why?
Hey,
why are they there?
I don't know.
Man, what's Django up to?
They probably called Michael B. Jordan first, and we're like, "Hey, Michael B. Jordan, you want to come do Electro?" And he's like, "Nah, man, I saw Amazing Spider-Man. I'm good." They're like, "Well, shoot, we should call Jamie Foxx."
No, he's like, I'm being casted for Lantern. Oh wait, that fell through. You guys got that opening still?
No, man, we gave it to Jamie Foxx.
Dang it! All right, guys, I'll take that Green Lantern job.
So, two things have come out of this. One, Jamie Foxx has come to Twitter and has said that he's not going to be blue this time, which is a relief, I guess. I don't know. The second thing is the rumors of the Spider-Verse flooding. And apparently, We Got This Covered has said that MCU has now been in touch with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to come back as Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Again, this is from We Got This Covered. Oh.
What was that the thing that I shared? Is that where that was from?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
And look who's here.
Oh, it's Ryan. Yay. Everybody say
Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Am I crashing like 2/3 of the way through?
Almost.
Yeah, pretty
The last
much.
bit of news, the best part where we're talking about Electro coming back as, Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro.
Okay, goodbye.
You said he's not going to be blue. Can he have that a lightning thing around his face for the whole movie, just like a big cardboard cutout or something? As part of his costume. So. I feel like this is the best design.
It is. It probably is.
No, but anyway, I remember I shared that article, but was it from We Got This Covered?
I believe
it might have been. It might have been.
I usually am careful about that because I too am suspicious of their.
You should just blacklist it on your browser, man. Just so if you click on it, it won't pop up.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, it's yeah. I must have to it comes up on Facebook, and I just have to. It's on my phone, and I probably should just be like, hide this page, hide this page. Go ahead, hide.
Not credible.
Okay.
Fake news.
Fandom Wire. I'm sorry. Fandom Wire is claiming that Marvel has secretly been in talks with both Garfield and Maguire to get them back for Spider-Man opposite Holland.
This obviously seems like a more credible source.
Yeah, I just shared it because I was like, it was a nice idea, a topic. Like, okay, whether or not it's true or not, like, would we be interested? I'd be interested. Maybe not in all the aspects, but
no.
Come on, man. You can't have too much Spider-Man. Oh wait, yeah, there's too much Spider-Man in this.
Okay, first of all, Tobey Maguire is like 50 now, so he's not going to be in the best Peter Parker shape.
Michael Keaton's old, man, and he's still going to be Batman.
Yeah, but there's a timeline for Batman being that old. It's called Batman Beyond.
That's true.
Wait, there's no old Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider Old Man.
Spider Geriatric.
Jeez.
I don't want any part of that.
I don't know, man. I think there's potential in it.
Wait, what's with the ages here? Batman can be an old Batman, but Spider-Man can't be an old Spider-Man?
That's right.
Wait, hold on. Ryan's wearing a Batman shirt. I think he should weigh in on this.
I mean, Sony has such a good track record of finishing out their Spider-Man series by not getting too carried away. So I'm really excited for ambitious ideas.
You guys smell that, right? You all smell that?
I'm glad I asked.
We're bringing back 3 Spider-Mans. We got Venom. We got Carnage. We got Electro. We got Rhino. We got everybody in the universe coming in this one movie.
Sweet.
Can't wait. I can't wait. All right. Well, that was the news. Ryan, you're just in time for our reviews. Unless you have any other thoughts on Electro, Jamie Foxx.
Not a fan. I mean, it's way too Jim Carrey's Riddler for me, and it sounds like this entire movie's going a very DC direction as far as
you just upgraded him, man. They called him the Mr. Freeze, and you call him the Riddler. Okay,
yeah, I told Alex that he reminded me of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin.
Oh, no, I mean, like to me, he's like that. Like, oh, I'm nerdy and I wear glasses and I look up to this person, and then I found out that they're full of lies, and I'm gonna turn evil now. No,
That's true.
That's how that goes. All right, I don't remember Amazing Spider-Man 2 at all.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once.
And I'm pretty sure Andrew Garfield just shed a tear because he just realized no one remembered that movie.
He's got a good career. It's fine. He's got an Oscar nomination since then.
For what movie?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, that's what I was gonna guess. I like that movie. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Didn't he get one for Silence too?
No, that movie got like 1 nomination for cinematography, and that it's very upsetting.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Negative.
Ryan, anything?
Not since I got devastated by Dune getting pushed back, but I'm sure you guys covered that.
Yeah.
Wait, Dune got pushed back?
No,
you're
he's
not here for this conversation.
He's talking about Doom, the Rock sequel.
Doom, the Rock sequel came out last year. Doom Annihilation. I haven't seen it yet.
The 3rd movie. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean I was like trying to put together my best of the year like so far, and I was like, oh, I have to leave my top spot for Doom because I just bought Children of Doom, the miniseries sequel to the 2000 miniseries, and I was like, got my Dune board game. I just rewatched Dune on Blu-ray, the original one that I don't even think is that good. And I was really ready for Dune to just slide in there and take my top spot. But I guess Underwater was meant to be in my top 10 of the year so far.
You can't go bad with that. That was a solid movie, man. I like Underwater.
It was a solid movie. Is it top 10 best of 2020 material?
Yes.
Well,
with the movies that we've got.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we?
You're right.
Is the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back up for nomination for that?
Sure.
Yes.
I've gotten roasted for putting Star Wars so high on my list, but I might as well go for one more.
There you go.
I mean, we were talking about it before, but I'd say probably the best film that I've seen. I mean, theatrically, I mean, there's only so many. Is Gentleman.
Oh,
that's
yeah. That's still.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, then let's get to our movie this week. Gentlemen, we watched Vampires versus the Bronx. What to say about this movie? Well, vampires start to try and take over the Bronx by slowly buying up buildings and bodegas and whatever else. And 3 teenagers from the Bronx decide to take on these vampires and save their neighborhood. Who wants to go first?
You know what? Fine. Ryan just got here. He's probably still easing in. Alex probably has. No. I'll go. I don't really. I was talking to Clint earlier. I watched this movie, I think, on Friday. And usually, if I do it that early in the week, I'll go back and like at least kind of watch it again just to get an idea. Spoiler alert: I did not do it with this one. There could be a reason for that, but we will talk about it because I haven't really thought about it too much. Let's just say, I thought Eddie Murphy as a vampire was the craziest decision of all time.
Wrong movie.
We're not talking about Vampire in Brooklyn?
No. Vampires versus the Bronx. That's a
Oh,
whole
okay.
other borough.
I also watched that one too. This, I was expecting, we talked about it briefly last week about the producer was Lorne Michaels, and I didn't read much into this, and I went into it, and I thought it was going to be funny. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of like a little more slapstick. Let's get it real, man. It's a story about urban kids, in the Bronx, gentrification, people coming in, taking over their town. And they have to step up and, destroy these vampires who are taking over their neighborhood. It's got funny moments. There are a couple gags that actually did make me laugh out loud. Overall, though, I was not impressed with anything, really anything at all. The production for it, I thought, was very, very, very cheap for what it was. You could tell the budget wasn't that high. I really am hesitant. I'm trying to find something that I really, really enjoyed, except for that one kid who wouldn't turn his phone ringer off. That's literally the only thing that made me laugh the whole movie. It tries to go deep, but it doesn't really go that deep because it wants to stay PG-13, and it tries to like have a couple gags over there, and it tries to go kind of slapstick, but it never really goes full in that direction either. I'm not sure if I was expecting anything like What We Do in the Shadows or anything stupid like that, but I was expecting something kind of funny, which I just didn't get. Overall, I mean, I can't think of anything stylistically that really bugged me. Maybe Ryan, if you looked in that, maybe you noticed something. I wasn't impressed with anything. The kids were good actors. Maybe that was it. I wasn't really bugged by them. I thought they were fine. I thought they were charismatic enough. But I can't even say like the music. A lot of times in these Netflix films, actually, I'm not sure if it's a Netflix film, but a lot of times in those films that, debut on Netflix, I'm usually like, oh man, the music was great. This one, it was pretty forgettable for me. Overall, that said, I'm not going to like dog the film, but I can't help. I don't want to give it a 5, or I don't want to give it as high a 5. I'm just going to give it a 4.5, just because I was expecting more. I just kind of wish they had made that decision what kind of film they wanted to be, as opposed to towing that middle ground line. But that's about it. And I usually like vampire movies. I was just kind of bored and blah with this.
Okay. Huh.
I said
think
4. I said 4.5 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not 5. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Four.
Yeah.
Best vampire movie of 2020.
11 out of 10.
No, okay. I think I'll go next because go ahead, Ryan, before I do my.
Gotta know, Matt, when you say the words "What We Do in the Shadows" and like stupid, you gotta clarify, like in a good way.
Yes,
I feel like
for him. Yes.
I feel like this is a loaded question. Are you trying to get me to say something, sir? No.
Gold.
Yeah. No, I like that. And that's what I'm saying. I wanted this movie to pick a direction to go in, like at least do that, and just didn't do that for me. And I'm sure that's not what they wanted to take it serious, because I think they wanted those themes that they had going in there, and they didn't want it to be purely slapstick. And I'm like, come on, man, add a little more humor to this movie. Let these kids try to do some jokes. I don't know if they're comedian, funny kids, but at least let somebody try to be funny, or at least try to like freak me out with, not freak me out, but at least throw something gratuitous in there. If you want to do that, just do something, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but I'll go next because Matt was jogging my brain about certain spots. Yeah, this movie was okay. I think it's pretty forgettable. You know how for a lot of things they say, oh, it was before its time. I think this was after after its time. I think this would have been a movie best served kind of a late 90s, early 2000s era. I think that's when this would have been, if it's going to be successful or viewed in better terms, that's when it would have been best suited. It's a little like, okay, it's dated. You can kind of predict the plot for the most part. At first, I thought some of the music was going to be like, okay, maybe this is what this movie is going to be about. So, rocking some, good tunes, the score, whatever you want to call it. But, at first it was like that. And then it just kind of was like, whatever. It's forgettable. It's not really important to it at all. There were a couple of points I like, just weird nitpicky things. Like, there's a reverend in the movie, or a priest, whatever. Father Jack. Man. Yeah, there you go. There you go. And like, he's supposed to be this, personify a priest, who's, accepting and, relatable and approachable and everything. And he's kind of, I don't know what you guys thought, but he's kind of a douche in this movie to them. Like, they don't have to do anything. They could have to go to the bathroom, and he's like, so, that was something weird. That was, and related to that, there's a part where, their moms bring them to church because they're like, you need Jesus and everything like that. But I know this happens. I know there are people that do night services, but I thought it was weird that why is this church service at night? Vampires like to do stuff at night. Yeah, that's weird. Why are they having night services? I just thought that was so weird. But that's just me. The acting, I think, was okay on the kids' parts, especially the part of the person who played Miguel. He was not bad. I'd want to see him, in some other movie, some other role, see what he's got. He looked like, I liked how he was a little, he wasn't one-dimensional. He didn't act like a general kid in this time. Like, he looked like he had genuine acting chops, and I was like, okay, he's pretty good. My favorite character, I actually liked the bodega owner dude, Tony. I think he was the most relatable and most chill one, and he was, I liked him. The idea of the vampires, like, it's a decent concept, but like Matt said, it felt like it was gonna, end up being kind of slapsticky and comical with Miguel's friends, especially the, like, not asthmatic, but I forget what he had. He has like low blood sugar issues. Like, I thought he was gonna be the comic relief. Like, something goes down and he's gonna be like saying some type of wisecrack or something, like, and it ended up not being that way. He just kind of just kept being the asthmatic kid. So it's like, okay, there's that. Another thing, actually two other things. There was the one girl who was like the social media girl who had the like little image stabilization stick thing. She's like, hey guy, hey everybody, it's your girl, blah blah blah, on Glow TV. And I'm like, okay, a lot of people do that, but every single scene where there's something that goes down, hey, this company has bought the courthouse, hey, these guys are under arrest, hey, this is happening, she happens to be there. I'm like, I think the Bronx is a little bit bigger than that, and you need to go do something with your life. How come you're always there? What is up with that? How come you're a vampire? And then there was a part where the kids got arrested, and then all three of their parents. The only explanation is why their parents are there is that the police probably called them. But at first I was like, yeah, all three parents actually hang out with each other. How are they all there at the same time? They don't all hang out with each other. So, yeah, and you can tell this cast was dwindled down to as much as it was because of that production. It felt like too many of the same characters were in a lot of the same scenes. So, I mean, I can't knock that against it because, some movies don't have as big a budget, so they got to work with what they got. So that's fine. The other issue was, so it's the three of them the three boys for most of the film. And then all of a sudden they kind of segue that one girl in. And then she just is kind of part of that last, like, hey guys, we did it. We beat the vampires. And I'm like, you didn't even know these guys like 10 minutes ago. And all of a sudden you just beat the evil dead, or, Satan in human form.
Yeah, but she was Haitian. She'd been preparing her whole life for this.
That was, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not that nitpicky about it. I was just like, it was weird. One thing I thought was kind of a cool idea, or a cool, basically an idea, is, they had holy water, and they talked. I had never heard of this before. Everybody's heard about the, heart, the stake to the heart, garlic repels, crucifix, and all that, with vampires. But they talked about holy water and how it would boil in the presence of a vampire, or when they're near. So I thought it was kind of cool when they were preparing to go into the courthouse where is the nest is, and they had they had water balloons filled with holy water, and they used it, and it would boil inside. I thought that was kind of a cool little idea, as kind of a detector for where they are, or if they are there. So it's kind of a small little cool nugget to take out of this, but I guess that if there's going to be one, that's it. Otherwise, pretty forgettable. I'm not going to say this is horrendous. I think this is a good stepping stone for a lot of those actors, especially who I'd mentioned, the kid who plays Miguel. I think this is a good stepping stone for stuff for him in the future. So my rating for it, I was going to give it a 6. And then I think after hearing that and then listening to myself, I've dwindled myself back down again. So I think I'm going to give it a 5. This is a movie where if you got an hour and a half to kill, go for it. But you're not missing anything. So, yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm going to stick with my 6 because I already wrote it and I don't want to go back and change it. I wrote it before I dropped my Starbucks coffee, so maybe my bitterness level is and I mean, listening to you guys, there's definitely a lot of little things I hadn't even. I mean, I was not watching it on critic mode, that's for sure. I think it disarmed me a little early on. I enjoyed a lot of the humor. Matt, I think I found it a lot funnier than you did. I got a good laugh at least every 5 minutes. There were, I mean, on average, I think I liked a lot of the little humor. I think some of it was probably a little too obscure. You get like the vampire building corporation, whatever it is, with their little Vlad the Impaler symbol, and their name is like Mordo, and I was like, oh, that's the director of Nosferatu from 1922. So you get like a couple of those that are just gonna not land unless people are like really into vampire stuff. Like, a couple little, I like the weird reference to the little wafers. I was like, that's the first time I've seen those in a movie since I think Bram Stoker's Dracula. So that's some little things that I think, Matt, I think I'm with you for a lot of it. I think it could have been either just more obviously slapstick or taking it in a more serious direction. I don't know if I would have wanted a rated R movie that was like really intense and also really funny, but it could have been funnier or funny early on and then more serious. I'm trying to think of a good example as far as like tone goes. And I'm not really landing one outside of like Monster Squad from I think 86 or something like that. But even your Lost Boys has like a good amount of comedy early on and kind of transitions it out by the end of it.
Well, I'm sorry. I think you're right when it comes to that, as far as like tone for the film and the way it looked. It felt like an early 90s, like late 80s like film, except it didn't, for me, and maybe it's because I'm from that age, it just didn't feel like it had that charm. And maybe that's why I was a little, heavy-handed with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think if this had come out in the 90s, I'd look back on it and be like, oh yeah, this is fine. Like it's got some lasting appeal with its humor. But I think because we've seen better versions of this movie since then, as even not even with vampires, we've seen funnier adaptations of vampire movies or monster movies or kids versus something, and Stranger Things exists, so you get your 3 kids and the 1 girl all riding bicycles, and you get like a lot of that nostalgia done better. I still liked a lot of it. I think some of the stylish humor worked really well. It was kind of rare for like the film quality of it to land with its humor. I didn't think it was an exceptionally memorable film as far as the look of it, but every once in a while, a nice camera whip would be like, oh, that's a clever way to incorporate something that they wouldn't have done in the 80s or 90s. The harsh zoom in at the Sprite bottles, and then the weirdest product placement as Sprite being holy water, was a good bit. I laughed for a good while during that sequence. I thought the rest of it was okay. I thought the kids did a great job. A really good job. I wasn't sure early on, and I wish I can't remember the characters' names, but I wish the one character had a little bit more of a character arc. They kind of built him up to have the biggest character arc of the group. He's like trying to fight bad influences, and then by the end, I'm like, did you though? Like and in fact, that whole subplot kind of dead ends with he's got like, I won't give too much away, but like the influential figures that are like his negative influence. That doesn't go anywhere at all, which is a little weird because the story itself is the reason it doesn't go anywhere. So there's a couple things like that where they start writing something in and then they just cut it off. And I think by the finale, it's hurting the most. I had a lot of questions by the finale as to how things are happening, why everyone's at this one spot at night. It was a little silly. There was still a couple good laughs in there, but I was like, this person is like really old and experienced, and they're getting taken out with by some regular people. So I think there were like a lot of logistical things they could have, and I think again that goes back to the tone. I think they could have avoided that problem if they had just kept either a more serious tone by the end or a funnier tone by the end. And I wouldn't have minded even just an even more careless tone. You can still have your serious moments and have it be consistently funny. And I think by the end, they just kind of couldn't pick. So it leads to a lot of really slow moments. There's a lot of buildup. Setup and payoff is good, but the pacing buildup isn't really good in that movie either. But I enjoyed it enough to give it a 6 because like I said, I already wrote it and don't feel like confusing anybody who actually read that. It's not really worth a 6. It might be because it's a movie that's out right now. And it's free to watch if you got Netflix.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Ryan, I literally started out as a 6 when I was finished watching it. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't know, man. I just really don't know. And so it just kind of kept dropping to a 4.5.
So maybe that's where I went right or where I went wrong. I watched it last night, wrote my review, haven't thought about it since.
Yeah,
so I got the thoughts.
To piggyback on Ryan's point toward the end, I did think, that the ending was, all of it is not strong to anyway, but like the ending specifically is, I think, really weak. Like that battle between that one last, woman vampire and the whole town, which is, it's funny you said that because I was like, about all the people being there at the same time. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Everybody, they had a small cast and they needed everybody to conveniently be up around that time and being in the same area. So, convenience. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was funny because they had those 2 girls just kind of, they're about to throw down. And then those 2 girls are just kind of.
That was a funny gag.
That was good too.
Yeah. That was the funny part in the movie to me. And I was like, what? But then, they get that and they're like, Tiffany, whatever their names are, they're like, what? We're fighting a vampire. Oh. And then it gets serious. And it's just like, it kind of goes, it flip-flops. So it's excellent points that you made. And I think that just solidifies that they should not approach me with any more, like they shouldn't try and tug on the string to maybe get that review any lower than a 5 for me. So Ryan is sticking with his 6. I think he said because he does not want to rewrite his article.
My bar is so low this year that I think I'm worth a 6 anyway.
You're giving everything a bell curve on this. You're like, all right, guys, I don't have like a huge enough thing, so
Yeah.
the lower one, it just goes up, man. Normally in a normal year, you'd probably be like a 5, but you get that extra point.
Yeah, because I'm giving so many 2s.
Yeah, I think I view this movie this week the way that Ryan maybe viewed Enola Holmes last week. Like, I think there was definite potential, but the execution and the pacing and they didn't know what direction they were going to take it in the most part of the movie. Just kind of led to it being not the greatest product. Mm-hmm. So that's what I kept thinking. I was like, I feel like I'm seeing this the way he's seeing Holmes. So I'll still keep it a 5, but no higher, no lower. But now it's Clint's turn.
Thank you. I kind of agree with Ryan. Like, this was tonally, this kind of reminded me of Lost Boys. Like you said, like the first part of the movie, it starts off as this like kind of innocent, like, block party or whatever in this town and whatever, and then it starts to turn into this like vampire story, and then it kind of gets a little bit more serious. It was. I just finished it, and I'm still kind of like, yeah, it was alright. Like, it wasn't like blowing my mind or anything else like that. But I do wish that it was a little bit longer. It's like one of those movies that I kind of wish it was a little bit longer. There's like those movies that it's like an hour or two long and you can condense it. This one needed to be like at least 30 to 45 minutes longer to kind of like you were saying, Ryan, like bring out some of these characters. And like I think the kid's name was like Johnny or whatever. I don't know why that pops in my head.
Leg.
Yeah. But yeah, like the whole influences and things like that, and trying to get to why they really want to save their neighborhood or whatever. I would say that it needed to be 30 minutes, a little bit longer, because it like the pace of it was so lightning fast that by the time that like the third act is going, I'm like, wait, where are we? Like, okay, I guess we're here. But in the same token, it kind of like it's to that, it helps the movie because it's not bogged down by like tropes and things of that nature besides the intentional ones. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. Like, it wasn't nothing special. Thought the kids were great. But yeah, that was it.
So what is your rating though? I don't know if we caught that.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
Clint, I think there's even a scene in that movie that either intentionally or unintentionally directly references Lost Boys. And it's near the finale, so I don't want to give it away. But you got like building up to the confrontation. Maybe we'll just give it away.
Spoilers.
But the scene where they're hanging upside down. And I was like, oh, this looks familiar. And he's going to do this, go up and do the thing. And I was like, it's either clever or stealing.
Or both.
Or both.
Yeah.
You guys talked about the third act of this movie. Bye, Alex. Welcome back, Alex. Just kidding.
I'm still here.
No, I feel like you're completely right. I don't know why the film is kind of short, but that third act is just all the things that they talk about in the first 2 acts of this movie just get thrown at the end with like very quick resolutions that just weren't fulfilling or made no sense, whether it's,
right.
They're looking for this key. So, which is cleverly, they haven't been able to make more vampires apparently, but they get it. They get the little vampire dust, but then nothing really happens of it. She's like, I'm going to make this one kid a vampire, and then she's dead. And also with what you said, Ryan, this lady's like hundreds of years old, facing these people with brooms. She's got superhuman strength and whatnot. Why isn't she just straight up murdering everybody right now? This doesn't make any sense. And then these kids, which I know it's a Lost Boys reference, when they're crawling up there and they're all hanging down, but there's like 4 vampires right there. And there's 3 little kids with like little stakes. and nothing happens to any of them? Are you kidding me? And then that one scene where the ladies, like, they have the one scene where the blonde chick shows up to the mom's house, and, you know, they realize who she is and she can't come in. Spoiler. And then they have that next scene where she's like, did you buy the building or whatever? And like, yeah, bought the building. That doesn't play out anywhere in this movie. They didn't really need that in there. There's no point because nothing happens.
I will bet.
Yeah.
I will bet that finale was not at all what was in the script. It genuinely feels like they wrote something bigger than they had a budget for. They got to near the end of pre-production, and they were like, rewrite this, and just condensed it. And that's where a lot of our story beats go. And
and also I forgot the one scene with the gangsters and the vampires, and how that, you know, just dead ends everything. And it's not even like a good scene. It's just a cut in a scream, and you're like, really? That's where we're at right now? Okay. There's like one little gag, obviously, but I'm like, okay, we were set up for that, and that's all that we get for this. I guess it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that this movie started off as a homage to both the Bronx and vampire movies, because you got like a lot of the tropes of, you know, 80s and like early 90s vampire movies, and then of course they like sprinkled in some of the Blade stuff. But it's literally like there's like little scenes here from like this movie, and like little scenes in this movie, and like all this other stuff. And you know, I did like the Alex called him this asthmatic kid, but he had low blood sugar or whatever, because he's the only one that had like the one-liners in the whole movie. Like I can't remember what he said, but he like killed 2 vampires, and he's like, "Holy water, bitch," or something like that. So I like that kid more because he had the nerve to actually give him the one-liners. So, but yeah, you could tell that this was definitely like some sort of homage to like those early vampire movies.
You know what they should have? They should have taken the holy water and taken some super soakers and put those in there and just been like, while they're all hanging up.
Isn't that in something?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
I feel like I've seen that is definitely in a movie.
Yeah,
I'm blanking.
I was saying it. I was like, I feel like I've seen that. That's why I say it. So I have no idea if
that's gonna bug me. That is so gonna bug me.
That's not Monster Squad, is it?
No,
well, they didn't have super soakers.
No, it's got to be something.
No.
To the internet.
Super soakers.
No, but see, all the things that we're saying just add up to why the ending easily is seen as the worst part, because it was rushed. Well, not rushed. It was, they had something better planned, and their budget kind of caught up to them, and they were like, you know what, we got to end this. So yeah, it just, the choreography, the lack of, you know, the woman vampire putting up any fight, you know, it's just, it adds up to kind of a lame scene and just kind of a quick ending. So because of that, if they had a higher budget, I would agree with you, Clint. If it was a little bit longer and we had a little bit more fleshed out story and more well organized one, then I'd agree with you. But if it stays at this budget, I would hate to see another half hour of this, because I was at a half hour into this movie. No, I was 28 minutes into it, and I was like, man, I'm not even in a half hour. God, this movie's long. But you know, again, I think it's a good stepping stone for a lot of early actors, or a lot of actors who are just, you know, getting their feet wet and, you know, just trying to establish who they are. So I think it's okay for that reason.
So 2 things. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
That's where I seen it at. I knew I'd seen that before. And secondly, I think that at least the main kid is probably going to go into bigger, better things. I believe that the director is going to go into bigger, better things as well, because you can tell that he knew what he was doing. This wasn't like shot on like an iPhone or whatever. and like some of the segues in the editing were decent. But I think the director will probably be, this is like his stepping stone into something else, because tonally, like the indifference in tone and like the speed of the film and all that other stuff set aside, like you can tell that he had control over what was going on.
Yeah, this is a very beginner for a lot of people in multiple aspects type of movie. So for that, I give it some respect. But just generally speaking and objectively speaking, not a great movie. It's okay to me.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
You're like, don't go see this. Go see this instead.
No, see, that's almost why we're here. No, if it's a great movie, we can recommend it. And now, if it's a bad movie, we can do everybody a service and be like, stay away from this horrible piece of garbage.
If you like 80s, 90s themed vampire movies featuring children, check it out. It's not horrible. It's not great. The third act is going to probably leave you a bit let down, but it's tolerable if you got the time.
Yeah, it's like if you need something to watch for Halloween, there are worse.
Yeah.
I'll
agree with that. If you have 80 minutes to kill for Halloween,
that's another question. Do you think, let's say this is released back in June, do you think it does better? Like, would you give it a lower rating, higher rating, same?
Well, as a connoisseur of horror films, I'm pretty sure I would give it about the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty fair, because you and Jeannie definitely are the horror.
She was not feeling this, but she's not a fan of like the Lost Boys or really vampire movies. Yeah.
She likes not Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably give it a point lower.
If it were in June?
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching a lot of mid-class Halloween movies right now. So it happened to be like wedged in between like Hocus Pocus and like House of Long Shadows and like a couple others that we just watched. And I was like, yeah, I'm just feeling like a bunch of below average Halloween movies right now. So
you missed my list, Ryan. I watched 12 horror movies this week. 12.
What?
12.
That's so many. All right.
I know. So you have to go. I have to go and read it now again. It's going to take 4 hours. Just kidding.
You do.
Read it again.
Read it again. I'm going to read it in the order that they were watched. There were themes involved, and you're going to be like, why did you watch that?
Worse. Just kidding.
Huh? Which one?
Do whatever you want. I said I want it best to worst.
You want to? Okay, I can do that. I have them written down that way too.
I'm ready.
All right. So my first one is Cabin in the Woods, and then Cabin Fever, and then Martyrs, the French version, which I told these guys about. The Evil Dead remake, not the original, but the remake. Don't make that face. It's a great film.
Okay.
Sinister, Vampires versus the Bronx. I actually have that at 6. It made the halfway point.
Is that a new movie?
Yeah, you can check out the review on Production Meetings. Then I have the Texas Chainsaw 3D, The Wicker Man.
Wait, which one?
The greatest one of all time with Nicolas Cage. Then I have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, Cabin Fever 2, and my least favorite film on this list, the Cabin Fever remake, which just pains me to no extent.
Matt, there are so many bad movies on that list.
As in all of them.
I think I genuinely like one movie out of 12 on that list.
Wow. See, I generally like 5 out of 12. So, but I like my movies fun, man.
So Sinister's on your list?
Yeah, man. Sinister 1, I think I appreciate Sinister 1 so much more now that they made Sinister 2. Sinister 2 relies completely on jump scares, and it has the whole gimmick of like the videos. But the first one is such a downtrodden, or like such a downer of a film, and it has those videos in it, and it's super creepy. And I think the score is great in it. I just think it just feels like supernatural. No pun intended. That I just enjoy it, and I think Ethan Hawke did a great job in it. So I don't have any problems with it. The second one just makes the first one look bad, I think, but the first one is solid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the American remake of Martyrs can be found on Hulu, and it has a whopping 9%.
Why would I want to watch an American version of a probably good French movie? I haven't seen it.
The
Don't
French
read
one
the
has,
don't read the plot, man. Do not read the plot. Just go in, done.
Heard.
And you're gonna.
It has a 63%.
It's too intense to get like a higher grade. Like that's probably about right.
I don't know though. I think my entire foreign collection of horror movies that I've picked out for Halloween are all Japanese or South Korean. So we'll see.
Solid. Okay. Anything else on the Vampires versus the Bronx? Nada?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So we can take this to the vote, gentlemen. I suggested doing the first 3 episodes of The Haunting of Bly Manor. I, however, did notice, since I was watching this movie today, that the Adam Sandler Halloween
Stop.
movie came out.
No, don't say it.
Yes.
Don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was the last movie we hated? Was like Artemis Fowl that we like collectively hated?
Ding.
Also, I'm going to keep bringing our Artemis Fowl every week. And everybody that it exists.
We already talked about enough horror, Ryan.
Well, it is Halloween.
2020.
So is the whole Bly House series coming out on Friday?
The 9th. Yes, the 9th.
How many episodes is it?
I believe it's 9.
All right. Were you gonna watch it? Were you gonna watch it, Ryan?
I mean, I will try. If you guys vote for it, I will at least get through the first 3 episodes.
No. Well, the only reason I say that is because selfishly, I'm probably going to be watching it anyway. So I just wanted to know if I should do it. But I mean, I'll watch the Adam Sandler film. I'm sure it'll be amazing.
Don't say that.
I'm ready.
There is 9 episodes.
Dang. But I actually kind of want to watch Hill House again before I watch it, so I'll probably not watch it this week. Yeah, I take that back.
Matt, have you seen the old Hill House?
The old Hill House?
Not like a direct remake, but like The Haunting of Hill House.
I don't think so.
It's pretty fun. It's nothing at all to do with the series, other than the name. But it's Vincent Price, and it's pretty funny. I mean, it's not like a comedy, but it's pretty fun. You said you enjoy horror movies. I would recommend that.
I am super, like, I kind of want to watch Hill House again just for that one long take episode that just blew my mind, where they're at the funeral and the camera just pans around the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the show, watch it. I think it's like episode 6 of the series. It's probably one of the best things that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
As far as horror goes. I say horror. I mean, I guess it's horror. You can call it horror.
Yeah, it's very The Haunting. Like, it's not in your face horror. Like, there's like one episode like towards the end of the season that like they go for the jump scares, but this is a very slow burned horror, gothic type horror. Yeah.
Well, no, they have those jump scares. They usually have. I feel like those things have at least one jump scare or one like creepy, like, what is that scare the whole time, like every episode.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. So we got 1 vote for Adam Sandler.
I'm voting for. I'll let you vote first.
I'm voting for Bly Manor. I dug the first season or the previous season. So, Alex, you're the tiebreaker.
Oh God. Can I be Sweden?
No.
Okay. You probably are gonna be like, why don't you know anything? But Bly House. That does, and then there's Haunting of Hill House. I keep hearing that. Are they related?
No.
I don't think I no. I think actually
Yeah, it's
I don't
anthology.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's an anthology series.
Oh. Okay.
So like each season's disconnected, like The Terror.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to watch the one in order to get the other.
No.
Not that I'm like opposed to watching Haunting of Hill House, but I don't want to have to watch an entire season of something just to be able to watch 3 hours of something else. Yeah, between those two, if we're getting good vibes from Bly House Bly House, I'd go with that. Anything Adam Sandler in is automatic garbage. I'm sorry. I love the man in the 90s. His stuff of recent, like within the last 15 years, sucks so bad. I do not want to even come.
I don't know what you're talking about. Jack and Jill is one of the best movies ever put to film.
Yeah, it's one of the best horror movies ever.
The only thing better than Jack and Jill is Cats.
Man,
Which is coming on HBO Max this Saturday. This Saturday.
I thought you were going to tell me today. I was about to fire that up.
This Saturday,
Actually,
people.
React to Cats for the next 2 hours or however long that movie is.
Oh, I'm going to bring my review.
I think what I don't know if we so are we going to do Bly House or are we going to do the Adam Sandler film?
Bly House.
Are you okay with that, Ryan?
I mean, yeah, I am going to bring a thorough review of that Adam Sandler film, which I don't even know the title of, and I will find at least one positive thing in it. If not,
I'm gonna be watching it too. So if you guys want to keep that Adam Sandler film just for an hour and a half of your life, we can chit chat about it.
Let's go ahead and say
Bly House.
we'll do both. It's for those that watch it. Whoever watches the other can review it, and if we all have whoever does it, can do it.
And Sweden with the win. Yeah.
the audience get both.
Sweden with the win. Okay. I will catch a glimpse of it if I can, but I will be focused on The Haunting of Bly House.
You're just going to watch, put one on your laptop and the other on TV. Just mute the TV and watch Hill House.
Probably what I'll do.
You're just gonna hear chains and actually scary noises, ooh, and one, and then he's gonna hear Adam Sandler going, "Sabadoo." Hey, what are you kids doing there?
What is the name of this movie? Hoobie Halloween?
It's
Something?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's right.
It's my guaranteed $1 million with Netflix by Adam Sandler.
It's write me a check, Netflix.
That's right.
I know. I hate to sound so negative about the man when he's produced, such awesome movies in the 90s.
All right, everyone, just close your eyes, think happy thoughts. It's gonna be a good movie. Actually, the reviews are probably already on Rotten Tomatoes because it's already streaming right now.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, spoiler alert. Oh, I didn't mention it. Vampires versus the Bronx has like a 90-something, 95 or 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. Of course, it's only got 14 reviews, but still.
That's funny. It's got like a 5.1 on IMDb.
Yeah, and it's got a 51% on the audience score, so that's about right.
I only trust the IMDb rating on anything.
The IMDb rating is 5.3.
Oof.
Yeah.
Out of 5, right?
So that technically
10.
technically better than the movie we just watched. Depending on who you are. If you're Matt and me, then it's better. If you're you guys,
it's worse.
5.1.
Ugh.
That's okay. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Little Nicky, so I should be all right.
Oh, Jesus.
oh,
So
Oh,
bad
boy.
it's good, man.
Ugh.
Hey, I don't know about all that. All right, guys. Anything else? So collectively, we're gonna do Bly Manor next week. But if we happen to catch Adam Sandler in his Halloween movie, we'll talk about that as well. Last words?
God help us all.
I know. I know that's what that's what it's gonna feel like when we watch that movie. It's like last words. Electric chair.
It should have been Vampires versus the Bronx.
Again.
Why didn't we just watch Artemis Fowl again?
Ching. All right. Then we will see you next week, guys.
Later.